Hello friends, myself Shalaka or Mohare, and today we are going to study an important topic, that is Assessment for Learning CC4 B.Ed SEM 3, that is NRT and CRT. Now let's get started. So this is one of the major topic, that is from Assessment for Learning, that is Criterion Reference Test and Norm Reference Test. As you all know, to assess the student's knowledge or the comprehension level of a particular student, we are using various tools and techniques. Okay, so in criterion reference test and norm reference test are also used to assess the student's level of performance, but the kind of assessment is little different. So let us understand what is the basic difference between criterion reference test and norm reference test, and we'll also understand how they differ from each other. So let's get started. So basically, we'll start with a brief introduction about this both test. Now, Robert Glaser originally coined these two types of measurement in the year 1963. That is criterion reference test and norm reference test. That is CRT and NRT. Criterion reference test and norm reference test was performance based on distinct criteria, but they are used to evaluate students' ability. Means both are used to identify and gauge the student's ability, but there is a fine line of difference between these two. Now, what is criterion reference test? The measurement by which the student's real knowledge of a student in a subject is measured is known as criterion reference test. And norm reference test is the traditional measurement by which the relative ability of a student in a subject is measured is known as norm reference test. Now, what is the difference? In criterion reference test, or we can say that CRT may be defined as one in which the test performance is linked or related to some behavior measures or behavior measures. And in norm reference test, we are basically assessing the student's performance, at how well the student has performed in a particular subject as compared to his friends. So in norm reference test, the student's performance is being compared with his friends, and in criterion reference test, there is no such comparison of a student with his friends. In criterion reference test, this child has to attain a certain criteria which is already predetermined. Now let us understand in detail about these two. First, let us understand what is criterion reference test. Okay, now criterion reference test, as you see that the name in this particular test itself, we are having the criteria. Means some criteria is already predetermined, or we can say it is already decided, already framed. Okay, now for example, simple illustration I want to give, that for example, if I am having temperature, okay, I am having fever. So how will I measure that? How will I come to know that I am having temperature or fever? Okay, I'll use a thermometer. So, if in the thermometer the temperature is showing as 99.5 or 100 or 100.5 or 101, means what? It is indicating that I am having temperature. Means the criteria to have fever is already set. Okay, so that by that particular criteria we understand that I am having fever. Another example, as you can see in this example, like for example in amusement park, to enjoy certain rides, we need to have a certain height level. So if my height is below that, okay, for example, say to enjoy a particular ride, the person should have at least minimum 5 feet. Okay, but the person is having 4.5 feet. Okay, or come here 5 feet से भी कम है, then the person is not able to enjoy that particular ride. That is, the criteria to enjoy that particular ride is already fixed. So here basically his height is not at all compared with other students or other persons over there. Okay, he cannot enjoy because he is not passing that criteria. In many of the exams or the competitive exams and all, if we are attempting that, if we are passing in first level, then only we are able to go in the second level. So criteria is already fixed in that particular test. Let us understand the characteristics. That is, here the students are assessed independently. That is, the student's performance is not at all compared to another student. Focus is on student learning rather than grades. Here, we are not saying that you are getting less grades or you are getting higher grades or you are having lower scores or your scores are high. The child's performance is not at all compared with other. Here, the basically we are assessing the attainment of a particular skill. One more example I would like to give you about the attaining of the driving license. Okay, so if I want to get the driving license, I have to pass certain tests which are already predetermined. If I'm passing those tests, then I will get a driving license or a learning license. Okay, so here basically what I want to say is criterion is already fixed. Okay, now examples are like driving test, end of unit exams, clinical skill competency tools, etc. As you can see here, some of the sports are also there. To enjoy this sports or also to enjoy this kind of sports also, we need to have some criteria to be passed. That is, if I'm having arthritis or anything, then I won't be able to enjoy this rights or sports, we can say. Now let us understand about norm reference test. Now here the definition says that norm reference test measures students' performance in comparison to other students. Also, the age and question paper is same for both of them. They measure whether the students have performed better or worse than other test takers. Okay, here, so as you can see, the child's performance is compared to his fellow mates. Okay, so if the child is performing less, means he is scoring less than his other friends, and this performance is measured in terms of grades or another ways of assessment. Okay, so basically the here child's performance is being compared with his friends in terms of like grades or anything. Characteristics of norm reference test. It measures broad skill areas taken from a variety of textbooks and syllabus. Each skill is tested by less than 4 items. The items vary in their difficulty. NRT must be administered in standardized format. Okay, and scores are reported in form of percentile rank. Examples are IQ test, competitive exams, okay, entrance exams to colleges. Norm reference test can identify learning disability in children, for example, autism and dyslexia. Now, this is the brief difference between norm reference test and criterion reference test. Okay, that is definition as we have already discussed, examples, okay, and usefulness. But this is the common, that is the major ways of bringing mean to meaning to test scores. Compare one student's data to another result are useful in interpreting assessment. Okay, so these two tests differ from each other, but these two tests are also very much useful. Okay, thank you very much.